Good morning students and welcome to today's IP class. Today we are going to start a complete new chapter after the database concepts, and this is the chapter is all about SQL structured query language. We already discussed about all these things in the previous chapter where we start understanding about what do you mean by database and what is SQL actually is, what is the difference between MySQL and SQL, and what we can do under this language. So today we are going to start actually with the chapter consisting of structured query language. So before we move on to how we write down the query or what is the language is all about, we first need to understand that what is the basic elements of MySQL or SQL. Basic elements of SQL are, there are four basic mainly elements are, and they are literals, data types, null and comments. Now what this actually literals, data types, null and comments are. Let's first start with the term called literals. Literals, dear students, there will be two types of literals. The first one is called character literals and next one is called integer literals. Okay, literals are of two types. The first one is called character literals and second one is called integer literals. Now character literals are what? Whatever we are going to write, if it is enclosed within single or double inverted comma, it is referred as character literals. If a numeric value which is not within a inverted comma goes to integer literals, or we can say as numeric literals. So character literals means, example if we go, suppose I want to write someone's name. Okay, suppose I write here Ram. Suppose I write school. Suppose I write 30.5. Suppose I write 7. These are all different types of data. These two comes with the characters. These two comes with fractions, decimals and integer values. But it all comes under character literals. Yes, the numbers also now under character literals. Why? Because these are enclosed within these single inverted commas. So whatever kind of value, whether it's a character or a decimal or an integer value, if it is within these inverted commas, it comes under character literals. Next is integer literals. Under integer literal, any kind of number, it can be suppose 22, it can be suppose any other big number. Suppose this is 2020 going on, if I take it as a number only, it's 2020. So this is all about is integer literals, because these are again the numbers, but they are not enclosed within any inverted commas, not single, not double. If the numbers are not enclosed within any single inverted or double inverted commas, quotes, then they goes to integer literals. Clear up to this, students? Then next, what we are going to do is all about data types. Now data type is what? Data types. Data types is what, student? If I have to explain you in a very simple language, data type means, suppose there is a cupboard in your house. Okay. Now in that cupboard, whenever you are going to arrange that, there is a place where you can keep your daily use clothes. There is a place where you can keep your official clothes. There is a place where you are going to keep your socks, or there is a place where you can going to keep your mufflers or scarves or anything. There is a place where you can going to keep your belts and everything. So ultimately your cupboard is divided into some sections and you keep those things there. Why? Because whenever, whichever we want, it's easy to take from there, to retrieve from there, and things are not get jumbled up, so that it will be easy for us to understand also looking at the cupboard. As soon as the door is open, we can see at least, we can find it out our things easily. Even not me, if somebody else also can easily find it out the things. So same way data types means what? When we create a table, we are going to enter in that table different kinds of record. The record may consist of numbers, it may consist of alphabets, it may consist of mixtures of alphabets and numbers, it may consist of decimal values, it may consist of dates. So it's not that we are going to keep them under a one single file. They are divided into different categories, so that while retrieving and while entering, it's easy for everyone to understand the data. So database basically comes with char, varchar, int, float, date. These are the most important data types which we basically work with when in class 11 syllabus. Char, C-H-A-R, char is a shortcut of character. Char, varchar, variable character, varchar, integer, int, int, float, floating point, and date. Date is the date. Now let's understand all this. Char is all about alphabets only. Only alphabets. Char goes to only alphabets. When we work with only alphabets, we want to write somebody's name, then something like that. We want to write subject name. So there we can go for character values, char. Varchar is a mixture of alphabets as well as numbers. If you need to enter somebody's address, long values, when you have to go for long values, you always prefer for varchar because the size is big. Okay. So whenever we write, we need to mention the size also. Suppose I am going to use somewhere the varchar data type. After writing varchar, suppose for address I am going to use the varchar data type. So for address I need to write varchar, then here in the bracket 30. It means 30 characters, up to 29 characters I can enter here and can work with that. If you think it's required more, you increase the size by 30 to 50. Okay. So that is all about varchar, mixture of numbers as well as characters. Next is integer. Integer, always go with the integer values. You want to enter somebody's roll number, you want to enter phone number, you want to enter some other kind of values which consist of numbers, then we go for integer. Whole numbers, we go for integer. Next is float. Float goes for floating point. Floating point means, students, decimal values. Floating point means decimal values. If I have to enter percentage, 74.65, I have to enter percentage. Percentage never comes in whole numbers, it always goes with decimal values. So if I have to work with these kind of values, then I must have to go with the data type called float. And the last one is called date. Now date also comes with numbers, but when we write a date, it's not only go with directly numbers. Suppose today's date I have to write, I am not going to write it as, am I going to write the date in this form? No. What I am going to do is, either I am going to draw a slash in between, or I am going to draw a hyphen in between, so that student will understand it in a much better way. Clear, students? So date, whenever we have to write, we write it in a pattern. Now SQL, whenever we are going to enter the date, we always use this format. Y, month, DD. It means if today's date I need to write, then I will go for 2020 08 14. Today is 14 August 2020. So I have to write the date in this format. Okay. That too also it will get enclosed within inverted comma when I write these dates. Why? Because with the numbers, that's what we discussed that when we work with numbers. Remember that literally when we work with integer values, it will not get enclosed within, yes, quotes, single or double inverted commas. Now here these are also numbers, integer values, but they are get enclosed in single or double inverted commas. Why? Because we are using some kind of special characters in between the numbers. Hyphens or slash, we are going to use that. Those are special characters. So if you use any kind of special character in between the numbers, it needed to be get enclosed within quotes. Clear, dear students? Now after this, the next one, so these are the 4 data types. What we discussed, the 4 data types are character, varchar, int, float and date. Character and varchar are used to, and character is used to enter names. Varchar is used to enter long values which consist of alphabets as well as numbers. Integers always go for the integer value, whole numbers. Float goes for, floating point goes for values which consist of decimal points. And at last date, it always used to enter date in a pattern of year, then month, then date. Next we go for null value. Now null means what? Null actually means, suppose I am entering a record and 5 students record in a table, and the 3rd student address I don't know. I am not updated with the new address of the 3rd student, means the roll number 3 student. So what I will do? I'll just leave the field blank and I'll come out? No, that is the wrong way of creating a database. Database does not allow the user to leave the field blank. That is not a correct way of creating a database. So what I need actually to do is, I need to do what is, null is actually a value, an empty value. It resembles an empty value to the language. It makes the SQL language understand that here actually no value is there and user will going to update it if anywhere, anytime it is required. So in place of roll number 3, suppose there will be a table like this where I need to enter a roll number, then name, then suppose address, and then suppose age. 1, 2. These all records are entered. Roll number 3, name is X, address I don't know, age is suppose 15. So what I have to do is, in place of address, I need to write as null. And then I move on to the next value here for roll number 4 entry. I cannot leave this field like this blank and can come out. Okay. So it's best to enter this particular field with the value called null. Clear, dear students? And the next one last is called comments. Now comments is what, dear students? Comments is all about explaining the command what is going on. Comments is after the, not actually after the, it's side by the command it is used to be written. So comments is, whenever we go for comments, comments means, suppose I have written any command. Suppose there is a very common command called select asterisk from, suppose the table name is EMP. This is used to display all the records in the table. So if I write select asterisk from employee, this is a command written to display all the values of the table. Now, somebody may not understand what this command is used for. So what I need to do is, I need to write the comment there. So what comment I will write is, I will write the comment as, I will give a slash here, okay, and after that one asterisk symbol again, and then on this side I am going to write down the comment. Clear, students? I am going to write the comment here as display all the values. Then how I need to close this? Again with asterisk symbol and a slash. Clear, students? So this is what all about all the basic elements of SQL. The first one we discussed about literals. Next we discussed about data types, and then null, and at last comments. Comments are basically used, these comments are not mandatory to write when we create tables or when we enter records. Comments are only required on some areas where we want the user to not to get confused. So we write the comments to make him clearly understand that what this actually command meant for. So this is not a mandatory thing to like we have to write whenever we are going to do something using SQL. So with this I would like to wind up today's session, students. If you have any doubt regarding the video, please feel free to ask me, and with this I would like to close. Thank you everyone.